Brush fires in Idaho. So, all right. So let me give y'all a little bit of pregame. Some people saying they want the real. Let me give y'all a little bit of pregame of what's going on in this clip. All right. So in this situation, I should have my lower thirds right. And let me get this together. Let's do this the right way. Because I'll be going off the rails and I don't know what I'm gonna talk about. So that's why I've been doing this. All right, I'm about to get this set up for y'all so we can do this the right way. Give me a second. Oh, for brush fire. All right, there we go. Now we popping. All right, so let me set this up for y'all. So an Idaho gunman, which is weird over in Idaho. The only place that I've ever been in Idaho, I think, is Boise. Boise is beautiful. But an Idaho gunman basically set up firefighters by starting a brush fire. So the reason that this is concerning, well, before I get into my whole narrative about it, let me go ahead and show y'all a little bit of what's going on.
The breaking news, a suspected sniper found dead, and now a massive investigation is really just getting underway after what the sheriff says started as an emergency response to a brush fire turned into an ambush on first responders in Idaho. 2 firefighters were killed. The sheriff says a third firefighter was also shot and is still fighting for his life. Calls into emergency dispatch in the midst of it paint a terrifying scene of the moments they realized that they were under attack.
Some law enforcement right now, there's an active shooter zone. They're shot. BC3's down, BC1's down. Everybody's shot up here. Law enforcement, code 3 now up here.
The ambush sparked a huge response from law enforcement. More than 300 officers from various agencies and neighboring counties were all called up to help. At one point, officers exchanged gunfire with the suspect, but it was more than 6 hours after that first fire call that his body was found. This morning, fire crews are still working to contain the fire that he allegedly started, still burning on Idaho's Canfield Mountain. CNN's Julia Vargas Jones is live in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho with the very latest. What are you learning?
Good morning, Kate. Well, the plan today from authorities is to go back to that location where the body of the shooter was found for further investigations. What are they looking for? They're looking for more weapons and more ammunition that gunman may or may not have had with him. Now, they had to remove the body from that location relatively quickly, they said last night in a press conference, because of the threat of that fire. So we have not learned any further details about who this gunman was or what were the weapons that he had with him, but we did hear from the sheriff of Kootenai County here in Coeur d'Alene talking about the very nature of this attack and what that was like for the firefighters that were responding on the scene.
This was a total ambush. These firefighters did not have a chance. When you have an environment where you don't know where the bullets are coming from because of the trees and the shrubbery and what have you, it is daunting for police officers, let alone firefighters who are there just to put out the fire.
Unimaginable, Kate, what these firefighters went through. And now this community is also left with so many questions as the investigation continues in the coming days. Now, I do want to share with you one interesting detail is that authorities did use his cell phone, the shooter's cell phone, to ping his location. And as you mentioned, they had exchanged fire with him, but that for another 90 minutes is how they tried to triangulate him until he eventually was neutralized. We don't know how he died at this time, but that fire in that location continues to burn. It is now called the Nettleton Gulch Fire, and authorities will be going up today as daylight breaks here.
So essentially what we're hearing is this, and this is why we have to be very careful and appreciating the people that are our first responders, that are the people that are the front lines, that the people that actually, I've even seen people criticize firefighters for not being out fighting fires 24 hours or the entire time that they are, like, even when they get a chance to rest and they get a chance to have some level of camaraderie and play cards with each other or whatever, so on and so forth. I've seen people criticize them. I've seen people criticize firefighters, because they feel like they make too much money or they get too much overtime and stuff like that. And so when I think about first responders, I had a couple of guys that are police officers, and one guy that is a detective that is looking to retire. And they came up to the meetup this weekend and they said, Anton, we really do appreciate the fact that you show so much love to police officers, to firefighters, to anybody that is a first responder. You have the utmost level of respect for authority. And I do. Because I know that these people have the worst marriages. I know that these people have the most isolation from their children. I know that these people actually have so much stress, which is one of the reasons why we still, in a lot of places, still offer pensions. Pensions were a thing of the past. Pensions came into fruition in the manufacturing era in order to incentivize people to actually get these jobs on these assembly lines. And so they would tell them, hey, listen, if you work 30 years, we'll give you a lifetime pension or whatever. And so at some point it became uncompetitive for them to continue to offer pensions because you had legacy automakers that were trying to compete against international automakers that would come over to the United States of America and didn't have as high of a cost, so it could spend more money into research and development and other things, right? But in a lot of places, you still get a pension as a police officer, as a firefighter, because you're not expected, that life expectancy, the expectation for you to actually be able to maintain and then keep your job for as long as it takes in order to eventually retire is slim. Right? It's lower life expectancy, all of that. A lot of people wash out, a lot of people quit, some people don't make it, some people die, some people get divorced and all of this stuff. And so when you think about the level of stress and headache that comes along with putting your life on the line, every single time they run out there, guys set up a brush fire. I hate cowards. World is getting crazier every day. Guys set up a brush fire so that so that firefighters can ultimately come respond to the brush fire that's still going on. Now the fire is raging out of control. Set up a brush fire so that firefighters who don't carry weapons show up, and then he can start sniping them from wherever it is from his location, which means that it's planned. Horrible. Somebody, because remember, these is cowards. These are not people that actually run into a police station or anything like that. They're not running into an army base. They trying to get the most helpless amongst us, right? And so there's somebody, because we don't even pay attention to life. We've been desensitized so much that we don't even make it a big deal. Somebody's husband, somebody's father, somebody's uncle, somebody's cousin, and somebody's son died because somebody set up a brush fire and then decided that they wanted to shoot firefighters. What the fuck is going on, man? I mean, I'm sorry, Ash. What the heck is going on today? Yep, highest suicide rate also. What is going on? What is happening? We're getting to the point to where they're going to start saying that firefighters got to be armed when they show up to a location. Somebody's father, somebody's uncle, somebody's husband, somebody's man, somebody's whatever is now, they woke up and they get a phone call, hey man, yo, he died. Did he die in the fire? No, he died because he was responding to a fire and somebody shot him.
Much more to learn. Julia, thank you so much for being there for us. Sarah.
All right, thank you, Kate. Joining us now is CNN senior law enforcement analyst Andrew McCabe. There are a lot of questions. I'm curious from your perspective of law enforcement, what questions do you have as you hear this laid out, where there was an ambush, according to authorities, there were shots going off constantly from the suspect as firefighters were trying to put out a fire that he allegedly caused?
A live look at our nation's cap.
Sure, Sarah. There's, as you referenced, a million questions here, and most of them right now for me are focused on the shooter himself. That person has not been identified. But one of the first things investigators, who now are taking kind of the lead with this investigation since the tactical response has been resolved, investigators are going to try to determine not just who this person was, but what got him to this point. They're probably preparing to execute search warrants at his residence, maybe to locate vehicles that are registered to him and search those as well. They want to identify family members, friends, work associates, whoever they can, to share insights about this person and to shed light on the motive of how he got into this or provoked this deadly shootout with firefighters. And of course, hovering in the back of their mind is the question, was there anyone else who helped with this? Could there have been another shooter present at that location and participating in the attack? Or could somebody have simply helped him prepare for it, arm himself, that sort of thing? Because you want to know, is there someone else out here who might be like-minded and who might try to stage a similar attack in the future?
Yeah, I mean, that's always the big fear. Or if there are people that see this and decide to be copycats. I am curious if you have ever, in your history in law enforcement, seen something like this. One of the investigators had said, the sheriff actually had said, look, we have seen at times in urban settings, firefighters coming under fire during, huge protests or huge riots, but had never seen something like this. Do you recall anything like this ever happening before?
No, not at all. I mean, I think those observations are accurate. I think in large metropolitan areas, sometimes when there's a large fire response in an area that's experienced some sort of disruption, protest activity, things like that, every once in a while you'll have someone takes an opportunistic shot at responding officers that might include firefighters. It's really exceedingly rare, and it doesn't come off as a planned attack. It's just somebody who is angry and doing something stupid, essentially. This is the exact opposite attack of that. This person, if the facts are as they've been laid out by the sheriff, this person deliberately set a brush fire for the purpose of attracting firefighters, not police officers, but firefighters to that scene, and then laid in wait for them using some sort of a high-powered rifle, hunting rifle, sporting rifle, something like that, to try to kill as many of those firefighters as he could. I mean, that is, in my experience, there, that's unprecedented certainly in recent law enforcement history.
Yeah, that's a really good way to put it. And there are 2 firefighters who have been killed, 1 injured in all of this as police continue to figure out exactly what the motive was behind this, why this person ended up doing this horrible, horrible crime. Andrew McCabe, thank you so much for your expertise. Really appreciate it.
Joining me now to discuss former FBI Special Agent Ken Gray. Ken, thanks for being with us this morning. And I want to start with the sheriff saying that they believe he was a lone gunman. Investigators are now going to be looking into his background. What do you think they'll be looking for?
Good morning, Audi. Glad to be with you. So the tactical aspect of this case is over. Now they are moving over into the investigation phase and evidence collection phase. And when they are looking to see who he is, what he's about, to try to build a complete picture of who the shooter was.
We mentioned earlier that they had to remove the suspect's body. I want you to take a listen to a little bit more from the sheriff on that.
We scooped up that body, and as far as the preservation of the scene, you know, it's not perfect in this particular situation, but it's something that had to be done. So you have to evaluate each particular circumstance, and at this time, we felt like since the fire was approaching, we needed to scoop up that body.
It's unfortunate that our firefighters and the people that are trying to keep us safe the most are the ones that are suffering the most as a result of this. This should not happen. People's loved ones should be able to come home from doing their job. We should not have firefighters dying. Your life is already on the line, and you are already much more likely to die in a fire. Because I don't know if y'all have ever seen any of the documentaries or if you've even seen the exaggerations on TV of what firefighters go through, but it is hard. It is a very, very, very difficult situation that they have to deal with on a regular basis. And to think that they have to deal with this type of nonsense on top of it is unreasonable. So, in my opinion, I'm just going to say rest in peace. I think that it's disgusting. I think that there's also levels to crime. What does that mean? What does that mean, Anton? What do you mean there's levels to it? I think that there are certain things. You know how people always say, well, no, all sin is created equal. No, it's not. No, it's not. I don't believe that. I don't believe that all sin is created equal. I don't believe that every crime or all things that people do is the same. I don't, bro. I think that there's a reason why they call it premeditated murder and capital murder and manslaughter and all of those different things. It's a reason why things are labeled the way that it is. And I believe that that is largely based off of the fact that there are levels to evilness. Sin absolutely has levels to it. Sin absolutely has levels to it. 100%. And these type of people are right above, in my opinion, slightly, not by much, but slightly above people that do things to little kids. To take somebody's father, husband, all of that stuff away from them, and they didn't even do anything wrong except for try to preserve life and try to save lives, or to try to prevent a fire from spreading, or try to prevent somebody's home from burning down, is despicable. It is. It's despicable.